Zach, this one is spicy. Marist Liufau versus Damone Clark. Everybody that I've talked to, well, not everybody, but first of all, I want to take a victory lap. I not only liked the pick, I loved Marist Liufau coming out of Notre Dame. I think that people saw some warts, and obviously the running back conversation was, well, why would you pick Marist Liufau and you need a running back? I think the Cowboys said we had an issue at linebacker. We will never have this issue again. Insert Marist Liufau. Let's talk about Damone Clark. We've done this in some of our other versus segments. Zach, before we talk about the battle, what do you think about each player?
When the Cowboys drafted Damone Clark back in 2022 in the 5th round, it felt like a steal. He had the back issues. He had the spinal fusion surgery, all kinds of things. But still, in the 5th round, it was a guy that probably could have went in the 2nd round or even sooner. He wore number 18 LSU. Big deal. Played well there. But coming into the league, I was excited. He even got to play after coming back in 2022 as a rookie. Actually got in there and got reps at the back half of the season. I thought that the 2nd-year leap for Damone Clark would be bigger than it was. It was honestly a disappointment. He had a ton of tackles. We know that doesn't mean everything for a linebacker, but I just can't remember a game where I sat back and was like, dang, Damone Clark is just made an insane play, or Damone Clark is balling out right now. So it just wasn't quite what I expected coming from that rookie season. Another year removed from that surgery, having reps under his belt, all of those things. So that does make it interesting with Marist Liufau. You bring in a guy that plays with reckless abandonment. He's plays like his hair is on fire. By all accounts, Brian Broaddus said it. Mike Zimmer likes him. He's a sponge in the film room. Everything they ask him to do, he understands and he does it. He understands his assignment, other people's assignment. By all accounts, a very smart guy, a guy that you liked, especially coming out of the draft. Like you said, this is a very, very interesting camp battle in 2024.
Kendricks is going to play. DeMarvion Overshown is not only going to play, I think he's going to play a huge role at the will. You cannot tell me that Damone Clark will start, but Damone Clark said it out of his own mouth. Hey, Marist is one of those ones. And I think in my discussion with Brian Broaddus, one of the things that he said was that Mike Zimmer told him, he said, Brian, this guy gets it. And all the scouts, and this is, is this off-season talk? Maybe. But I'll say this. When I saw him at the Senior Bowl, that's when it really opened my eyes. So one of the things that I think that has gone under talked about or underappreciated is just how tall he is and how big he is.
Yeah.
I saw him standing next to Peyton Wilson. He was bigger than Peyton Wilson.
Big dude.
Peyton Wilson is one of the bigger athletes that I've seen at linebacker in a long time. And he stood taller than Peyton Wilson. Okay, that's the imposing mindset and threat that the Cowboys need in the middle of their defense. Now, not to mention, you brought up a great point. I like Damone Clark. I think he's a fine player. But there were times that I noticed Marquise Bell fly off my screen more than I did Damone Clark. And that doesn't mean that it just felt like Damone was a tick late a lot. It felt like Damone caught tackles. I never saw Damone Clark actually hit anybody. Never saw him drive through a tackle. In one play, in one preseason game, you saw DeMarvion Overshown, and in one tackle, you said, this guy could play football in this league. When it comes to the battle part of things, I think there's a world where Damone Clark is a better athlete, maybe is a little faster than Marist. But I think that Marist Liufau has what every linebacker has, and I don't think that Damone Clark has it at the highest level, and is yet to be seen because obviously Marist hasn't played one snap in NFL. But I think he has better instincts than Damone. Now, got to get in there, got to see what it looks like. The pass coverage part has to be real, Zach, but I think this is one where the rookie could get the nod in a lot of situations.
I 100% agree. The jump, not seeing guys play in the NFL is obviously a big thing. You can project all you want until you get those pads on. But like you said, Liufau plays with better instincts than Clarke. The worst thing to be at linebacker is a half a step behind. Like you said, he catching tackles. I wish I would have looked this up. The tackles for loss for Damone Clarke, or the average depth of tackle for Damone Clarke, and that wasn't really helped by the Cowboys' defensive line in the run game at times. I think that this battle is a really tough one to project because Clarke has the veteran experience. I know it's not playing under Mike Zimmer, but he has played real NFL football. But Liufau is young. I wouldn't be surprised at all to see Liufau get the nod. Maybe not week 1, snap 1, but as the season wears on, Zimmer starts giving him more and more chances to take that job. And it all starts at training camp. Him having a good training camp sets him up to potentially start eating into those snaps as the weeks pass on. If Zimmer starts getting a little frustrated with Clarke or thinks he isn't playing as well as he should be, all of those things. But all of that starts at training camp.
The one area, I think Liufau is a stud playing forward. Yes. The one area I could see him struggling and maybe coming off the field is if he's asked to turn, run, and cover. What we got to find out is this, Zach. How many times this year, and what will be the percentage that Mike Zimmer actually puts 3 linebackers on the football field? Yeah. I think that the Cowboys got in trouble with their personnel packages when teams went with big personnel and we had, nickel and dime out there. I don't think that Mike Zimmer is going to fit the run in with nickel and dime packages. So if he's playing with 3 linebackers, that's where we'll get our answers, Zach. But I'll tell you this, when it comes to fitting the run, I think that at times Liufau tackles high, but he flies to the football, and that's a real thing. He plays with effort. I mean, that Notre Dame, look at Joker, Jeremiah Rusu-Koramoah. I mean, he plays the same way from Cleveland. Something about that Notre Dame way, those guys play good football even when they get to the league and even at that linebacker position. So this is one where, man, I'm excited to see this battle. I really am, Zach.